welcome to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
So today we're jumping back, way back, before texts, before email.
Before anything instant, really.
Exactly. We're looking at how ancient civilizations actually managed to talk to each other across, huge distances.
Yeah, the sources we looked at are pretty fascinating. Shows incredible ingenuity.
It really does. I mean, just try to imagine it for a second. You need to get a message miles away now. No phone, no internet. What do?
It forces a different kind of thinking, doesn't it? Using the environment, using everything around you. They were, incredibly resourceful.
Okay, let's dig into some specifics then.
Yeah.
What's first? Smoke signals. That feels like the classic example.
It is, yeah. And our sources show for Native Americans and in ancient China, too, it wasn't just like random smoke.
Right, not just help, fire.
No. They had specific patterns, maybe one puff, maybe two close together sequences that actually conveyed pre-agreed messages. It's basically a visual code.
The code written on the sky. That takes some serious planning.
Absolutely. And think about taking fire signals even bigger scale, like the Great Wall of China.
Ah, the beacons.
Exactly. Lighting those watchtowers in sequence, they could send an alert hundreds of kilometers, apparently, in just one night.
Wow. Just the coordination needed for that. It's staggering.
It's not just the fire, it's the whole system behind it, the organization.
Okay, so fire and smoke. What else? What about using animals? Pigeons.
Homing pigeons, yeah. The ancient airmail. Our sources really highlight how important they were.
For who, mainly?
Well, Greeks, Romans, Egyptians, they all used them, especially crucial for military messages, trade news.
And these weren't just any birds, right? They were trained.
Oh, absolutely. Carefully bred and trained to fly back to their home loft. Pretty reliable, actually, for carrying small, lightweight messages.
Okay, so birds flying messages. What about just people?
Yeah.
Human messengers.
Definitely a major method. You look at the Incas, for example. The Chasqui.
The runners, right.
Yeah, relay runners. They had this whole network of stations, tombos, and could cover, thousands of miles pretty quickly. Speed was clearly valued there.
So like a human relay race carrying information.
Sort of, yeah. And then you have the Persian Empire, which, they basically set up the first real postal service we know of.
With horses.
Mounted couriers, riding day and night, passing messages along. Very organized.
And we see foot messengers mentioned in ancient India too, right?
Yeah.
In courts and for trade.
We do. It shows this reliance on human speed and endurance was really widespread.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Beyond visual things like smoke or physical delivery, what about sound?
Ah, yes. Talking drums, particularly in parts of Africa and the Pacific.
How did that work? It wasn't just banging, was it?
No, not at all. It was incredibly sophisticated. They used the drums to mimic the tones and rhythms of their spoken languages.
Wow.
So they could send quite specific messages, especially useful in, say, dense forests where you couldn't see smoke or beacons very far.
That's amazing. Like a sonic language.
Pretty much. And then simpler sound tools, too, like horns or trumpets.
Right, like in ancient Israel or Rome. Maybe not for super long distance, but
essential for immediate things. Military orders on a battlefield, calling people together for an announcement, that sort of thing. Communication. Communicating.
So we've got speed, visuals, sound. But sometimes the message wasn't about speed, was it? It was about lasting.
Exactly. That brings us to things meant to communicate across time. Think stone carvings, pictographs, messages for future generations.
Giving knowledge, history.
Right. And a really unique example is the Incan quipu system.
The knotted strings. I've heard of those. How did they work?
It's fascinating. A complex system of different knots, colors, positions on cords. They used it to record and transmit all sorts of information. Numbers, historical events, maybe even stories, though we're still figuring it all out.
So not just numbers, but actual data encoded in knots.
Seems like it. A different kind of literacy, really.
So when you put all this together, smoke, fire, pigeons, runners, drums, knots, what's the big takeaway from our sources?
I think it's just the sheer cleverness of it all. Ancient people used everything available to them. The land, the sky, animals, sound. They used their creativity, their intellect.
To solve this fundamental problem of distance.
Exactly. Their methods weren't just practical. They were genuinely brilliant for their time.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? With all our instant messaging and video calls today, this constant connection, have we maybe lost something? Like maybe a certain kind of observation scale or, I don't know, a different way of valuing information that these older methods required.
That's a really interesting question to ponder. What skills, what perspectives might have faded as technology took over?
Yeah, definitely food for thought.